pleased and honored to deliver this keynote address on this important occasion as we celebrate the scholarly works and intellectual contribution of Dr. Njeri Kinyanjui to development studies, African economic thought, women agency, and the dignity of ordinary communities. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a quiet university that a university without a gate, no lecture halls, no graduation squares. It begins when a woman opens her stall before sunrise, when a mother counts coins for school fees, when a trader arranges tomatoes at Kikomba, when a tailor turns fabric into livelihood, and when members of Chama decide that no one among them will face life alone. In that university, lessons are taught through patience, negotiation, trust, sacrifice, courage, and hope. Dr. Kinyanjui has spent her intellectual life listening to this university. She has listened to the market, the Chama, the Juakali workshop, and especially to the women whose daily labor sustains families. It helps us to recognize intelligence, dignity, resilience, and creativity.
The Books Cafe on KBC.
Too often dismissed as merely informal. She gives academic language to what ordinary people have always known. African communities are already creating life, order, meaning, and hope. This is why we gather here today. We gather around books, yes, but more so, we gather around a vision that honors African agency, a vision that honors African women, African markets, African knowledge, and African way of organizing life. Development in this vision, according to Dr. Njeri Kinyanjui, is about the whole person. According to her, when you read deep in her books, development concerns the dignity, participation, work, family, culture, freedom, solidarity, and the common good. Now, these insights that we get from Dr. Njeri Kinyanjui resonate very deeply with the social teaching of the Catholic Church. I want us to remember some teaching of Pope Paul VI. He left us with an encyclical which he called Populorum Progressio, as a Latin title, which simply means the progress of the people. And in that encyclical letter, the Pope reminded the world that authentic development concerns the whole person, every person. Development must enable people to become more fully human and to participate more fully in the life of the society. In the same vein, there's an Indian scholar called Amartya Sen, who once described development as freedom, the expansion of people's capacity to choose, to participate, to decide, and to shape the future of a society. Dr. Kinyanjui brings this insight into an African soil. She shows that freedom and agency are exercised in the market, in women's networks, in chamas, in Juakali innovation, and in every practices of shared responsibility. One of her important contributions is her recovery of African ways of knowing. She recognizes the home, the market, the song, the memory of the elders, the ordinary conversation as places where knowledge is produced. She uses the Kikuyu word ndereti. I'm not very knowledgeable about Kikuyu, but I think the word means conversation. I've made a little research. It means conversation. And it has a lot of significance. Conversation allows the researcher to listen and the community to speak, not the other way around. This is the preferred research method. It's ordinary people, not as objects of study, but as the bearers of knowledge. Very good way of scholarship. In this way, she places trust in the people, in their memory, in their dialogue, in their encounters. And this is how she thinks truth emerges. Because the truth, knowledge is with the people. When you listen to them, you will truly get the truth. Now, this method reflects the African relational vision expressed in the words, I am because we are. The human person grows through relationship, and knowledge itself becomes richer when it is shared. Now, I would like us to get some insights from some of the works of Dr. Kinyanjui and make very brief reflections about them. We have her book, which she entitled Vyama, Institutions of Hope. That book shows how deeply this relational vision shapes African communities. Vyama or chamas are schools of trust and systems of care. Through them, people save, people invest, people educate children, support the sick, they assist the bereaved, and they help one another through their time of need, their difficult times. In this context, hope, the hope of the people becomes organized. Hope has meetings, hope keeps records, Hope contributes monthly. Hope visits the sick. Hope pays school fees. Hope helps a family stand when life becomes heavy. This is an important lesson which, drawn from Dr. Kinyanjui, be so useful for policymakers, church leaders, urban planners, and scholars. Many resources for transformation are actually already present among the people. Development becomes stronger when it listens to the local intelligence that sustains communities every day. There's a second work which I want us to highlight briefly. That work is called Women and the Informal Economy in Urban Africa, from the margins to the center. This work brings women's economic lives into the center of reflection. She shows that women traders, workers, entrepreneurs, and community organizers carry the life of the city in concrete ways. They feed families, educate children, create networks, sustain neighborhoods, and support urban life. This is what we mean by women's agency. They are thinkers, organizers, decision makers, entrepreneurs, and builders of development. They make choices. They solve problems. They create livelihood and act together to shape their future. This recognition is also a matter of justice. And we find this in the mind of Pope John Paul II of good memory, now saint. He once taught in one of the encyclical letters, Laborem Exercens, that work expresses the dignity of the human person. In the Pope's mind, when women's labor is recognized, the society gains a truer understanding of reality. When their contribution is valued, development becomes more faithful to human dignity. Then there is another idea we find in Dr. Kinyanjui's work, which is worth mentioning. It is about solidarity as entrepreneurship, a form of enterprise in which people cooperate, people share information, people support one another, and survive together. In that idea, business is accompanied by relationship. Profit is accompanied by responsibility. Individual effort is accompanied by social care. And that idea of solidarity as entrepreneurship is mainly highlighted in her work, African Markets and the Ubuntu business model. Ubuntu reminds us that economics always carries an image of the human person. The person is never an isolated individual. We are always relational. Our well-being is always connected to the well-being of another person. Now, that insight of Dr. Kinyanjui is urgently relevant. Kenya, Africa, and the wider world are searching for economic models that generate wealth while protecting dignity, strengthening families, including women, caring for the poor, and building peace. Allow me to cite Prof. Social communication. He called for an economy that includes, that heals, that serves. Dr. Kinyanjui's scholarship speaks strongly into this space. It shows that solidarity is already an economic practice whenever women share risks, traders share space, and communities save and build resilience together. Her scholarship also makes an important decolonial contribution. It asks universities to take African categories, languages, experiences, and methods seriously. She's wisdom of ordinary people. She prepared another beautiful book, The Sweet Sobs of Women in Response to Anthropocene. In this book, she gives language to the pain that women carry. Economic pressure, family burdens, social wounds, exclusion, silent struggles. It allows suffering to speak and transforms pain into wisdom, advocacy, and hope. Now, in her more recent work, Sisterhood Economies, Solidarity, and Ubuntu for Flourishing Futures, she continues the same journey. This book presents grassroots feminist economies as spaces of creativity, courage, and transformation. It reminds us that Africa's future will be strengthened when women are recognized as thinkers, builders, organizers, and leaders. Today, therefore, we honor more than a collection of books authored by Dr. Njeri Kinyanjui. We honor a body of work rooted in lived experience. We honor her intellectual courage. We honor the women whose lives inspired these pages. We honor ordinary people who have kept hope alive through solidarity. To the academic community, her work says, research must listen deeply. To policymakers, development must respect local agency. To urban planners, the market is a human space. To the church, care for the human person includes attention to everyday economic struggles. And to young scholars, your language, your grandmother's wisdom, your neighborhood, your people's songs, and your community struggles are worthy of serious study. To Dr. Njeri Kinyanjui, we want to say thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for giving intellectual dignity to ordinary people. Thank you for helping us see African women as builders of development. Thank you for helping us appreciate vyama, juakali markets, conversations, and sisterhood economies as places where Africa thinks, works, suffers, creates, and dreams. May your works continue to enter classrooms, guide public policy, inspire young scholars. Social reflection. As we celebrate this launch, may we live with renewed eyes. May we see the woman in the market with deeper respect. May we listen to the wisdom of our communities with greater gratitude. May we speak of Africa with truth, dignity, confidence, and hope. May we build an economy that remembers the human person. May God bless you, Dr. Njeri Kinyanjui. May God bless all scholars who place knowledge at the service of the community. Thank you so much.